Well, it is a new world. Well, it's not really. It's been a new world for a long time, hasn't it, Adrian Smith?
Hello, friend.
Hey, on This Is Business today, we are kind of chatting about, would you say this is online business content creation type vibe?
Yeah.
Like, what's this topic? And I mean, it's funny, I just pressed record and you didn't know I pressed record, but we're answering a brief question that someone wrote in to the business show.
Thanks for writing in.
Thanks for writing in, fellow writer. About, he's got an online, let's just read the question. How about that?
Let's do it.
I'll bring that up. G'day, Glenn. Love the show, mate. It gets me through some real long days at work. I was hoping to get your opinion on what I should do with my online brand and how to monetize it further, as I feel like it's all there, but I'm not capitalizing enough. I post flight simulator / aviation videos on TikTok, Insta, YouTube under OzSim, OZSIM. I've managed to get around 13K followers on TikTok.
Well done.
That's good. And a little over 1K on YouTube. Unfortunately, I can't make money off TikTok videos here in Australia as I don't think I've copied that whole question.
That's fine. But content creators in Australia currently on TikTok. You can't.
Yeah. So let me just find the full question. Ugh, crap. Do you want to, while I find this so it's not dead air, can you tell everyone what you do for life and work and your business? Because you are, you're on This Is Business and you do have your own business.
That's true.
So I think you do have some type of authority to speak to our audience.
Well, my name's Adrian Smith. I run a company called Run Gopher, which is an AI company, which started in 2017. And so we are AI for communication, so SMS, voice AI, MMS, all of those things. So we work with companies to build out communication strategies using AI.
Yeah, awesome. And how many employees do you have?
Just coming up on 20.
Sounds like a handful.
It's fun.
Okay. So I've just re-emailed you the whole question because I cut it off accidentally when I sent it to you. So there's no, he doesn't have the required monetization numbers in Australia on TikTok for their creator program, and YouTube is still a grind in progress to reach the required numbers for monetization. I thought it was 1,000, but it must be view hours as well. That doesn't matter. Therefore, I'm only really making money from TikTok subscribers who pay a small fee around $5 a month to show support. I have 7 subscribers, and through gifts when I do TikTok live streams, $5 to $10 a stream max. I also make content for a well-known developer in the flight simulator space who creates custom airports, sceneries and airplanes for $200 per video, which is 1 a week. Awesome. I'm in the process of starting a subscription-based service where I charge $10 per month, and the user will get digital download of recommended add-ons, tools, scenery, reviews, and news in the flight sim space. My aim is to be the go-to source for all this type of stuff in the flight sim world, as it does take a long time to find and download these add-ons, etc. I work full-time and earn $80K before tax in hotel maintenance to give you an idea of my main income. I hope you can help with some advice how to grow my online businesses to become a true source of passive income or even take over full-time one day. So that was the whole question that I neglected to send you other than the first 3 sentences.
Context.
So number one at the outset, this type of online business, don't be deceived. It ain't passive income.
No.
Because you've actually got to create the content. The only truest form of passive income is if you buy equities, you put the money in and you get dividends each 6 months. That's the only passive income.
Yep. Whether it's a minute or an hour of activity.
Yep.
That's active.
Now, you go one step further absolutely, we're into the realm where we can make money 24/7,
Yes.
always on.
Yeah.
But don't be deceived. It's not passive income.
And I think people get into this trap because like the essence of the question is, how do I scale up this business to give me more money? Because if we read into it, they are saying,
It's
Jono, they are saying that 80K potentially is the driver is 80K is not enough in this day and age.
Or I don't want to do hotel maintenance.
Yes.
And I want to be full-time online.
Yep.
So it's possible. I mean, and this is why we want to get into it.
Yep.
Yeah. So you've had a look at that whole question now. Do you have any other preliminary thoughts?
I mean, I think first of all, you just some encouragement to say, well done.
Absolutely.
Like the hours needed to generate, to cut videos, to think about, like, well done, Jono. Because that's not easy to even get to this point. To get to the amount of subscribers that he has, both across TikTok, regardless of whether they're generating $1, like that is a good effort in itself. And so like pat on the back. My other, before we dive into and kind of dissect, is you got to play the long game too.
Absolutely.
And this isn't a short term. There's no such thing as a short term win in this. There's no overnight success. Like it's a grind. And you got to be in the grind.
The only overnight success that I see generally in life is you go on Australian Idol, The Voice, and you pop off. But the problem with that pop off, it's not sustainable.
No.
It's like wow, I've made it.
Yeah.
And then it peters out.
Yeah.
But if you build slowly and organically and not based on how do I make money fast, that will give you the foundations.
Yeah. And like, is money the goal? Like in the initial terms, should that actually be the goal?
So was it 12 months he's been going for?
Yeah, I looked at his YouTube. It's 12 months.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Jono's question because to me, it reminded me a little bit about my online business now.
Yeah.
So I was doing financial advice 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And I was doing the podcast after hours. And then it kind of gets to the point where the thing on the side starts needing more of your time and attention. And then you'll come to a fork in the road. And that's kind of the classic side hustle thing. And this is a cool thing. It can be hotel maintenance during the day, side hustle at night doing sim work.
Yeah.
Or like me, I was doing finance in the day face-to-face and finance online after hours.
Yeah.
So I've got a heap of initial thoughts.
Shall we dive in?
Let's do it. You're listening to This Is Business. Okay, firstly, I will confess, I do like this. I'm considered someone on YouTube who considers aviation content.
You are that.
I am that person.
You are inclined to watch an Oz sim.
I don't necessarily watch the sim stuff.
Yeah.
But I subscribe to Captain Steve and we'll show you. I'm always watching animations of how things work in engineering and aeroplanes and.
Can I say Oz Sim is the channel for you?
Well, you probably could, but this is kind of what we've got to get into. I watch Sid Squad and all that in the background some nights when I'm just sitting around and I was driving the other day in an Uber and I was with someone. I was taking the boys back to the airport actually in my team and I'm like, oh yeah, nice plane took off. I'm like, it's a nice little A330 there. And how did you know that? I'm like, it's planetism. I've got planetism. I've got aviationism.
I've never heard that term.
No, I made it up. So yeah, I'm a plane nerd. I love all this stuff. And I think my initial thoughts are, let's just step back for 1 second.
Yep.
Can you first and foremost ask your subscribers on each platform, what do they want to see more of?
Absolutely.
And what do they want to see less of?
Yeah.
First and foremost, do that. The good thing about YouTube and TikTok, Okay, so we'll ignore Jono and OzSim for a second. I posted a post on LinkedIn the other day, and I basically was like, Instagram is dead as far as me and my business is concerned.
Yeah, right.
TikTok, don't care. For me and my business, it's YouTube.
Yep.
For a variety of reasons. Namely, from a principled position, I'm creating content and putting on their platform YouTube share revenue.
More generously.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about the TikTok creator program. And so there's another sub-reason that I like YouTube more, because if you're a YouTube user, you are generally less transactional.
Yes.
You'll watch a longer form bit of content.
Yes.
Where TikTok, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, it's transactional.
But mind you, you also posted that YouTube Shorts are a significant portion of revenue.
For me.
For you, or just in general?
Not for me yet, but in general it can be. But that's kind of my next step.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, well, why, Glenn, will you not do an Instagram Reel, but you'll do a YouTube Short?
Yeah.
One, there's a chance to share revenue. Two, at the bottom of every short, there's an embedded link.
Yes.
If you want to watch the full video, click here.
Yeah, which is classified as like on platform. So you're staying within the same
Staying on platform.
Yeah.
So for my next stage of my business, I am primarily now hosting a money show. We've got a nice studio here.
Yep.
I'm building another studio upstairs. There'll be another 2 sets upstairs. I host a money show.
Yep.
By the way, you watch it on YouTube or you can listen to it on Apple or Spotify.
Yep.
So that's kind of because last year we spent most of last year really experimenting with really looking at the reels and how to grow our Instagram and all that stuff. So I spent, it was called $3,000 a month. I don't know the exact amounts, but I had a social media agency, Kayla, who also hosts This Is Business.
Yep.
I had Kayla running all the Instagram socials and doing all that planning. I had Luke and Rach shoot premium good video content, sent them out to all the different podcast hosts, Shell, John, Emily Wallace, Jess Brady, me. I'm just like, as far as I'm concerned in business, you need to get a gut feeling of something, maybe try it. If you do try it, give it some time. So I said 6 months experiment, pulling the trigger, Kayla, Rach, Scott, team, videos, I want to reel a day out. And you kind of just see how it settles. So where it came for us was I was getting on Instagram more of the views because people knew me more than they knew potentially John or Emily Wallace or Shelley. So that was interesting, an experiment. But we weren't really getting followers.
Yeah, right.
So I'm spending all this money just to put transactional content out to the ether.
Yeah.
Well, that's cute, but
looks
if
good
I'm
on
not getting a return, what the hell am I doing?
Looks great on your page.
Now, you talk with other businesses, and this is a bit of we will swing back around to Jono, but it's a really good discussion. You work with other businesses who use Instagram as an acquisition model, and you can even talk about Laura Higgins. She won't mind me talking about it.
Yeah.
It 100% works for her and her business.
Extremely well.
So because they use the Instagram as a marketing tool.
Yes, that's lead gen.
Yep.
But also you got to know your audience too. Like for them, creative business, you would be silly to go elsewhere.
100%.
And so from like Meta ads, their lead funnels all through there. And so that lead acquisition and conversion model works perfectly for Meta.
Yep.
And so you can track all your CAC and all the other
Quack.
acronyms. But if you then go to Mr. Beast, it's all YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's late to the party on Instagram, and it's actually just YouTube Shorts really that are Instagram Reels.
Yes.
And so you have to look at your business model to go, well, where is my audience and how do I actually generate revenue?
So, yeah. And that's what I'm not saying don't use Instagram because if it's working for people, and it is, double
That's
down.
good for exposure for a lot of businesses.
Yeah. So for me, I've just resolved in my business, I don't heaps care for it.
Yep.
Because I'm not selling product.
Yep.
What's valuable for my business is the show that we do.
Pause there.
Yeah.
That like in a money sense, like you've got someone sitting on a train that ultimately is scrolling Instagram mindlessly. And the trigger for them might be, oh, that sounds interesting. And so they'll go to the platform they prefer. So it is an acquisition model in a sense.
Yeah, but my gut feeling on that, where I don't have data, and that's a big failure of my business. I need to be better at that. But I kind of
Everyone does.
Yeah, and this is the annoying thing about me, it's very much intuition.
Yep.
And even with my financial projections and forecasting, it's all in my mind mentally, which might be a bit of numbertism or whatever, but I'm getting cancelled here. But so it's all in my head, and I can forecast stuff in my head. All my business financials are in my head. I know my monthly revenue. I know my monthly outgoings. So for me, I think what I'm saying is if I'm spending $3,000 a month on Instagram and one person and 100 people on the train see that and one person goes and listens to the full content, I would rather spend the $3,000 somewhere else in the business and get 20 people to see the content.
Yep.
So for me, that's why I resolved, like, yes, it works, amen. But I really had the traction on Instagram when I did dedicated educational content for the platform.
Yes.
I had the screen in here. I had the weatherman style explaining stuff. That stuff went off.
Oh, Tim Bailey.
That took off 100%.
Yeah.
Who would have thought dedicated content for the platform that was adding value would take off?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
But you're also, like, you say it's in your mind, but that's only through training. Like that's through years of understanding those things. So it's not it's intuition, but it's also trained intuition.
I've got a deep understanding of, I guess, my audience.
Don't discount yourself there.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever.
But also, you've recognized that future of the business, and even the terminology of going from we are a podcast to we are now a money show.
Yeah.
That's a huge change in strategy to go, well, we're actually setting up for future success. So anyone that's on Instagram that is solely Instagram, like if we go back to Laura Higgins, she's now doing YouTube.
Right.
So podcasts were just podcasts, not video, and for Instagram Reels. But now there is there's a long form content.
Okay,
now.
so you've touched on another thing as well, and hang with us, Jono, because we will absolutely get to you, but it's just good to set these foundational discussion points and for me to update my audience on what I'm kind of thinking in the business or any other business. You have to, in your business, or my online business, I think they're generally called content pillars.
Yes.
Or you might call them revenue pillars. So my key content pillars is audio only, YouTube, our Facebook group, Instagram, email, online course.
Yep.
I could literally, and I have tried this, literally every episode say, hey friends, we're on YouTube now, and run dynamic ads in all our shows. The needle doesn't move.
Yep.
Because I consume podcasts when I drive. I don't give a crap about YouTube.
Yep.
So, but one thing we have done in this experimenting, from our existing audience, the biggest uptake that we've seen to get people onto YouTube, and I'm talking about transitioning from a content pillar to another content pillar, was our email database.
Oh, massive.
Hey guys, this is the topic. If you want to watch the full video on this topic, click here.
Yep.
People weren't clicking. You want to listen to this, click here. No, I'm on the lounge. I don't want to listen to a podcast.
Yep.
Oh, I'm on the lounge. I'll click here and watch a video.
Yep.
So that's kind of...
Email still is the only free medium. So like everything else costs money. You say, well, Instagram's free. Well, no, it's time to edit a video and do all this.
Well,
and
we
pay for
put
an ad.
resource into it. Like
Yeah.
there's a human element. Like Jess
Yes.
helps curate all the emails.
But it doesn't cost you anything to send emails.
No.
And so email is it's come full circle. It's the only audience you truly own. And so,
But there's still the gatekeeping of spam and filters
Yes,
in other
absolutely.
inboxes. That's the biggest issue.
yeah. And Justin Welsh, I think his name is, LinkedIn creator, started on LinkedIn. Now he calls himself a solopreneur, $12 million business, just him. And the majority has come from LinkedIn and his email marketing database.
Yeah.
And his open rates are huge. And then now he monetizes his email database, 2 ads at the top that
Yep.
are in line with what he does. And
Yep.
he's very transparent about it. And then like value.
Yeah. So our email open rate is over 55% generally.
It's great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I've taken the view that our email system, it's not a series of funnels and mess
Yeah.
for a couple of reasons. One, just the admin of multiple funnels and we used to do it. Hey, let me know if you're after buying your first home, click here and they get sent to another funnel.
Yeah.
No, not after spamming people. It's too much admin. If you've got to change email database systems, it's now once a week, here's Glenn's newsletter on a Monday night.
Yep. And it's
And we will
it's from
sell
Glenn.
an ad spot. Yep.
And so this is where like my AI comes into it is I always say that personalization, customization shouldn't come at the cost of personalization. And we've come a long way where brands just aren't trusted. And so we all know you can automate another email and you can have AI write it, but it's just everything's so saturated. So that cut through is Glenn writes the email.
Yeah.
Or Jono writes the email, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Like that's where the trust and authenticity comes to grow your audience, to go, it is 55% because I know it's not spam. It's not just, it's not a
And
no
I
value.
don't want to spam people. 100%. Just not interested.
Well, you lose your audience very quickly.
Yeah. So that's kind of my vibe on where I'm at, really nailing down what our key content pillars are. And if you look at our own YouTube growth, since we built the studio at the start of the year, and I'm like, all right, everyone, this is it, the transition. We've full on changed our workflow.
Yep.
So now, if you listen to it on the podcast, you wouldn't notice it because I've tried to have my cake and eat it too, but I've set the show up in a way that works for audio only.
It's good.
And so we film it, everything. Sean will edit the full video. And then the way we've set that up, he exports the audio and that goes on the podcast. No one notices that it's a rip from a YouTube show.
Which is great. And it should be that way, right? Because it's conversation. And the highly edited, like, and then, all the transitions.
Yeah, so like see these microphones here?
Yeah.
These are a DPA 3017 shotgun pencil microphone.
Yeah.
Like they're $1,500 each.
Yeah.
They are here because the next thing I'm experimenting with, I just haven't had a chance, is when we do our podcast, is remove these mics. So when we chat, just 2 shotguns.
Yep.
And the dedicated explainer videos I do on YouTube. So if you have a look, we'll put a link below. I did one on beta shares and beta shares direct and VDHG versus DHHF versus VDAL. Any dedicated VAL, whatever. Any dedicated content I do that are explainer videos, I use these pencil shotgun mics.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome.
Yep.
So I just want to, anyway, just optimizing. You've always got to be aware. And that's why at the start of the year, we decided I'm not spending money on sending a video crew around to get shots of John, Emily, Jess, Shell. It just wasn't working. It was a waste of money.
Yeah.
So at the start of the year, all right, let's turn it into the Glenn Show. And we did it, Glenn Show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of worked, but not to what I wanted. Then when I was doing my own explainer videos myself, dedicated for the content, for the platform and all that,
Yeah.
it worked.
And that you know your
And
audience,
then I just
right?
cut, not afraid to cut something that isn't working, that you're spending money on, hoping
Yes.
that it would work. And that's why I had to set a 6-month, 6-month trial. At the end of last year, that didn't work. We're changing. Then I changed it to, in my head, kind of 3 months, because I'm not throwing $3,000 away. Like, I love supporting the businesses and the teams, but I'd rather deploy that money elsewhere in the business.
That's kind of smart business, right?
Well, it's just...
Because experiments are good, but you have to, like, there are lead and lag indicators in any experiment to understand, like, well, this isn't going to fly. Time over distance doesn't equal success always. And so the lead indicator is saying it's an experiment and these are our failure metrics. It didn't grow. Okay, cut it. The lag indicator goes 6 months down the track, you have 400 people say, hey, I was really enjoying that. You're like, oh, okay. But that's helpful because then you can re-evaluate.
That's right. But that's why you've got to ask the audience what they want more of.
Yes.
The good thing is YouTube will tell you just from the data.
Yeah.
Without asking them.
When they turn off.
Yeah.
Who listens. Yeah.
So that's kind of my initial thoughts on these online businesses. You've got to choose your pillar that you want to double down in. And with your content, and we'll take a break, but with your content, I'll tell Jono what we do in terms of the workflow. And we've still got a long way to go, but a lot of people who I show in detail our workflow, their mind gets blown. So we will shoot the whole video here of the episode. Because remember, and this is another thing, the audio portion of my business still is such an enormous part of our audience and revenue.
That's where you started.
That's right. So I've got to be very, very careful. That's why I'm like, I haven't started to dick around with these microphones yet, because I've got to be very careful that the audio-only listeners don't press play one day and it sounds like it's not a podcast or whatever that is. I've just got to be very careful, or you do it very slowly.
Well, you can't jeopardize quality.
Exactly.
In this experiment.
Yeah.
Because you do lose listeners.
Yeah. So shoot the whole video. It goes, Sean edits the whole video and the podcast. So I've got the little stream deck here. If I make, and I've changed it so we don't really edit it anymore. So if I say something and then go, oh crap, hang on, I mean this, we just leave it now.
Yeah.
So we're not editing the content.
What, you make mistakes?
Yeah. So, but if I do say something that's catastrophic, which I did yesterday on an episode, I
repeat it because then you have to cut it here as well.
And
You made a boo-boo.
I made a boo-boo. I'm like, oh, that needs to go. See the X there on my stream deck?
Yeah.
Little X button?
Little death switch.
Yeah. So I press X and that does a long beep in a third or fourth audio track.
Yeah.
So when Sean pops this into Premiere Pro, there's another audio track.
The old boo-boo track.
The boo-boo track. And he will see a spike.
Yeah.
And there's an event there. See that flame there?
Yeah.
I press that. That does 2 beeps. Two beeps, 2 words, hot take. So if I'm talking and I'm like, oh, this will be good for Instagram, I'll just hit hot take and they will know that there's something.
I sound good here.
Yeah, there's something that I'm having a bit of a rant. And then that one with the money sign, I press that when we go to an ad break. So at least there's 3 beeps. I remember, let's make money. So that's part of the workflow. So Sean does.
I noticed you haven't hit flames for any of my things today.
No, that's right. So Sean does the workflow. The full edit.
Yeah.
Then Jess and Josh go into that session. Once it's been exported, put to bed, done, he rips the audio, and mixes down the full video. He's done, he moves on to the next one.
It's great.
Josh and Jess go in and they get the clips out for YouTube. So part of the YouTube strategy was I want a video every day on YouTube of a clip.
Yep.
If possible, at least 8 minutes to get over a monetization
Yep.
barrier. I said, if there's some videos that are 5 minutes and they're good, throw them up. Who cares? Let's just do content daily.
So is 8 minutes that's the magic number?
I think it was, yeah, for monetization on YouTube. So then they go in and clip it all. They get the hell out. Now, with this hot take, then Luke and Rach, my external contractors, they were then getting that session file and the videos and looking for the hot takes and making the clips for Instagram Reels.
That's great.
So we had 3 different teams working on one episode. So my vision for the future is to double down. I'm even thinking about getting another team member. And this is how my team, I think I mentioned it to Jess yesterday. I haven't told the broader team yet. But if I say something, it's not gospel, it's just my thoughts. Getting another team member to go in once it's all done, and their job is graphics.
Yep.
And visualizations and
Yep.
the After Effects stuff. So that's a pretty intense workflow. Underneath, I've also got, and it's not set up now, a foot switch for hot takes with 3 switches on it. So I can have the hot take, ad, and error with my foot switch. So all that to say, with your content, we use one master bit of content. Then what we do, we cut it up and put it everywhere.
Yep.
Within the 8-minute clips, we're moving to doing shorts from those clips and then mapping that 8-minute clip to that short.
Yep.
Just absolutely every content that we do, we maximize it. Then I'll say to Jess, hey, this episode's good, or she will, because the team, Jess and Rach, they all glitch check episodes.
Yep.
So the boys will edit them up, and a second other set of eyes will watch it or listen to it, look out for glitches. Then the team will, so if we do a good episode, I suggest, or she'll pick it up, let's make a newsletter out of that.
Yep.
Or let's make a blog out of that. So you want to do your base content.
It's like batch content and then...
Yeah, and then just stripping out everything. But the thing is, we had to change everything, and this was the annoying hard thing. So it was, we had to change the whole production workflow. YouTube show, bam.
Yeah.
And then with our money show, if you listen now, if you press play on a podcast player, it will be, play. All right, Adrian, we're talking about AI. What's AI? We are straight into the meat within 3 seconds for the podcast audio.
Yep.
And how I've set up our run sheet for the main show, it's like a TV station. There's A block, B block, C block, or it's C/D. So it just gives me some latitude. But that A block, I'll do a question. We'll talk about it within 8 minutes. So at least know when Jess and Josh go in, they know that first bit of slab before the first ad is a clip.
Which you did today. That was interesting.
That's right. Yeah. So is that why you kind of noticed that what's happening here?
But it's also like, back to Mr. Beast, because he's the beast on YouTube. He shows you the end result
at the start.
Yeah. Like, we're going to blow up this city.
Yeah.
And you see the city blow up, and then he goes into how did they blow up the city?
But that's all this counterintuitive stuff. And Gary Vee was big on it, which blows people's mind. And this is what I did with my online course, right? My little Glenn James spending plan, we used to sell it for $50, $70 or whatever it was. It was making $120,000 a year, just act passive in the background. I was just like, I'll give it away, whatever.
Yeah.
It's only a small percent of overall revenue, so let's give it away.
Yeah.
So his whole shtick was give away your best content.
Yes. Same with Hormozy. Give everything. Value, 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 value.
And it's so counterintuitive. And I want to put a question to you right after this break.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast, but if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au, and they'll point you in the right direction.
The question I want to put to you is, and we talked about it, I'm sure you've talked about it on This Is Work with Shell. I talked about her and with Phil on her episode a few weeks ago. How I run my business, right?
Yep.
It's pretty much online best practice in terms of what I'm doing. I've got a really good expensive studio that I custom built.
Yep.
Anyone can do that. I've got a good team. Anyone can do that. I think our content's pretty good. We've got good content.
Yep.
And that's kind of hygiene, right?
Yeah.
And all these kind of best practices, I think they are hygiene. But the other element is it might not work.
Yep.
There's this, and I'll say it again, there's a book by Robert Frank. I've had him on the podcast. He's a professor at Cornell in the US.
Yep.
It's called Success and Luck.
Yep.
It's this constant tension.
Yep.
So the way I see this with this success and luck is content is king. I want a freaking daily video on YouTube. Don't care. We're now turning it up. It's 2 clips a day at the moment.
Yep.
We have found our Retire Right episodes. We had one episode, I think it's up to like 65,000 views on YouTube at the moment.
It's great.
Where our run-of-the-mill episodes might be 1,000 views.
Yep.
So I'm rebuilding a business. And back to my other comment, when I told the team we are doing this, in January of this year, our monthly revenue for YouTube was $33. Went up $65. $50, because when things grow, they'll go up and down. Then I went up to $80. Last month was $850.
Wow.
And we're recording this in June, the end of June. We're on track for probably $1,000 a month.
It's great.
So when you see those types of signs of life in your business, you drive a freaking semi-trailer through that gap of sunlight, sign of life.
Yes. I'd like to parallel that. We, in our business, we were an SMS business only.
Mm.
And then we started to see, I started to think, I don't think this is it. And so when AI really took off, even like 18 months before that, where we started to see like some of the models changing.
Clive Palmer was one of your clients, wasn't he? Nah, joking.
No.
You know his SMSs.
Please don't. I have no affiliation with this. No, that's political text. And just so the Australian public knows, Anti-Spam Act is they can send whatever they want as a politician.
Yeah.
Painful. Anyway, so SMS only, and then we went to MMS and voicemail, but we started to see voice was definitely the channel.
Mm.
And so we basically killed our SMS business. Like it still runs, but we don't have the same focus on it to go all in on voice. And we were like, we just hope this pays off because like we've sacrificed heaps of revenue and we've built team. We've had to like hire expensive people to run it. And like it is paying off, but there is a moment in your business where you go, like for you, that's okay, we're a audio only to now YouTube led.
Show.
Yes. And show. There is a risk gap. You go, like you're talking about your gut feel to go, I think this is where we're going.
Mm.
But you can't half-ass it. You got to go all in. or else you will get half-assed results, and you won't know whether it works or not.
Yeah. And fortunately, like, you can do what I'm doing with your own house and a studio at your house and do video only.
Yeah.
I used to do it. People do it. But this is the dance with your own proclivity, personality. For me, how I'm wired, I'm so much more productive. And this could be for everyone, but I've got a dedicated spot now that's set up. Like when we walked in this morning, I don't usually do episodes before 11 a.m., but we're here now. I walked in, 2 light switches on the wall.
Yeah.
All the lights came on.
Yeah.
Microphones were set up, little camera focus, press go.
It's pretty good.
Now, this probably sitting in a $150,000 cave, but you don't have to spend that. But for me, I'm like, all right.
That's your brand too.
Yeah, Signs of Life. We've got multiple shows.
Yeah.
I want quality. I want flexibility. So there's, even to the point I've got 7 cameras in here. When I do my explainers on YouTube dedicated, I sit there, on that screen, sit there, and there's another camera under that top one. I don't want to move cameras around.
Yeah.
I just want to be productive. So for me, it was a half productivity play, and it's paid off for me.
Yeah. But productivity for someone at home is like the amount of creators out there that their brand is, it's them at the same desk every day.
Yep.
Like I saw this guy that sells unique cars in America, and he's got a lot of followers, makes a lot of money, and all it is him just on calls negotiating car sales.
Yep.
And people love it. But it's just the same, like that's his brand.
Yep.
This is your brand.
Yep.
And so you got to find that.
And I took a risk.
Absolutely. Massive
Based
risk.
on I think Signs of Life, things are changing.
Yep.
The next kind of phase and part of this is business course, because I love talking about businesses. I love talking about small business in the trenches, the Jonos of the world out there. I love talking, where Shell's This Is Work podcast, very high level executive leadership, best practices, all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm playing in the trenches out here. The next thing is the Glenn James business plan.
Yep.
And I've tested that. I will be selling it as a different revenue stream, but I can do that now in here.
It's great.
So to Jono, because you've got 10 minutes.
That's fine. Heaps of time.
What I'm thinking, I'm going to share the screen so everyone can have a look at Jono's thing. So all that to say, let's talk about Jono with all that background thing. And Jono's hopefully had a million ideas from that. My first idea to Jono, if you genuinely like Microsoft Flight Sim, because I think it's Microsoft Flight Simulator is the one, or whatever simulator content, if you like doing it, just yourself to play with, and we're going to give a heap of advice right now that might be absolutely rubbish because we don't know the flight sim world. We don't know that world. You might be so much more advanced than this, and this is why I go to FinCon every year. There's a lot of people there that they do finance content as their side hustle.
Yep.
I'm full-time job, multiple 0-figure business. Like it's very, like I'll go to a session, like, please, this is a waste of my time. You don't know what you're talking about. But you use that. They say one thing.
Absolutely.
They'll say a big thing, which is rubbish, but there's one thing in there that gets you thinking that you can pull out and implement.
Yep.
So that's what I want you to do, Jono. Can you, if you genuinely like doing it, buy a couple of cameras, get it. You've probably got the Stream Deck or the switcher. Buy a Rodecaster video switcher. That's what we use here in the studio, auto switcher, all that. Set a camera up of your face, back behind you, and the screen share, automatic, and just film yourself playing the game. 20-minute clip. Taking off, doing a flight, doing some turns, and landing, and put that up. I don't know if you already do it.
Scroll down a little bit on this. Because it's like even...
And I think in my underlying comments to Jono would be, F TikTok, F everything else, double down on YouTube.
Why did he get 7,500 views on that one? Like just
Yeah.
there, and then the rest
Free
are around.
eye tracking software plus.
Like these are the lead indicators that you need to pay
Yep.
attention to,
100%.
because that is hundreds of times more views.
Yeah. You know what? At the time of recording this, we've just had Air India tragically, crash, like horrendous. I've been watching, I follow Captain Steve here.
Oh, yeah.
He's a captain. He's got, just under 700,000 subscribers. He's been talking through what happened with that crash. I've been watching other sim videos because my whole thing was, okay, guy in 11A, I see the plane go out of frame, then there's an explosion.
You're into this, aren't you?
Yeah. When the plane kind of crashed, it's obviously split apart and the wings or the front or the fuel tanks kept going and he's managed to get out away from the flames. And I want to see an animation of a person in 7A, like the practicalities of how they survive that. So I was looking at sim videos and all that. Anyway, I just think,
Yeah.
and you take advantage of times like this where people are searching for that content.
There's
Trump's-
answers or
Yep.
yeah.
When Trump's Liberation Day happened, I did heaps of reels, like really fast that day on Instagram,
Yeah.
and they exploded and took off.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, you probably go through and look at your top 10, and YouTube will tell you your top 10 things. For me and our one, it's the retire right content.
Yeah.
So anything we talk about retirement, over 50s.
Yeah.
I'm even to the point where it's like, okay, there's really signs of life. Do I do 2 episodes a week on retire right and drop money back to 1 a week? That's where my head's actually at.
Yeah.
Because you've got to, do I retire money? That's literally where my head is at.
Yeah.
Not going anywhere. I say this stuff to I'm not freaking anyone out, but in my business, everything's always on the table.
In every business.
It's always got to be on the table. So YouTube will tell you your top 10 performing videos. I want you to experiment and reshoot those again and turn them into shorts. Look at these shorts. These are awesome.
Yeah, and look at the view counts.
Yeah. So we've lost all 4 engines. Okay, so he has doubled down. Oh, no, British Airways.
No, well done, mate. Good content. The time in this.
I mean, I watch this crap.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
can see why, the shorts are really taking off.
Like, there's so much engineering stuff that I watch, and this is what I would say to Jono. Film you just using the game as B-roll and do educational stuff and test it with your own voiceover. Here is how flaps work on an airplane.
Yeah,
Here is what happens
absolutely.
mid-flight if on this A380 we have 3 engine failures. Let me show you how safe it is.
That's pretty good
because
content.
it will fly with 1 freaking engine.
Yep.
Show people.
Why is there
you
duct
worried about-
tape on the wings?
Yeah, I saw that the other day. Why you shouldn't be worried flying. I'm going to use this simulator and at 30, 40,000 feet, turn off engine 1, 3, and 4,
Yeah.
and I'll show you how we will land this
Yep.
with 1 engine.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. Play into that fear that people have.
But it's education as well.
Yep.
Because I don't love clicky bait, rage bait, but it's that dance, at least to get activity.
Yeah, which plane's the safest?
Yeah.
Which, watch me try and crash this plane.
Yeah.
Now we're
Yeah.
just going to get stuck watching this.
I know.
So for Jono, who's trying to monetize, I think the question, if we come back to that,
Yeah.
is I think the goal right now is not to monetize. Like,
No.
That is a byproduct
Yeah.
of adding value. And there's a saying that cost is only argued when value isn't present. So there's like value first. What does your audience want?
Yeah.
What content do they want?
Jono's reason for living is to consistently make good content every day and have a target to grow YouTube to 5,000 followers by December 30. Forget the money.
Yeah, money. You can't have the money goal.
Money will follow. But in terms of that hard, there's his sim there. In terms of, yeah, baby.
That's cool.
Okay, so what gears he got? He's got that microphone. He's got the SM7B. I'm just trying to look for a video switch.
What a setup.
Yeah.
He's taking the drawer out of his desk.
Yeah, Jono, you've just got to lean into this and just honestly, I don't know enough about this world, but I'm probably not heaps caring about TikTok because it's just vanity metrics.
Well, yeah, I don't know enough to say that, but I do know enough to say you got to put the money aside.
Yeah.
And then just look at incremental growth on, let's say he wants every platform. Go for it. Set some goals. Let's forecast 12 months like you would in any business and go like, what is the metrics of success, and make it incremental.
Yeah.
Don't shoot for the stars. Just go, we're going to increase by 100 subscribers every month on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're going to get an extra whatever. And just double down on, get your top 10 videos, look at all the tiles, use AI to go, okay, give me 10 other titles that are more compelling than this.
Yeah.
And like the amount of times you can use the same content, reshoot the video, edit it slightly differently, and it takes off, whereas the original didn't.
Yeah. Piss off. I'm just having a look at YouTube. Oh, it doesn't have it doesn't have views on. Yeah. Okay, I'm looking for a video editor. That's good. I was just about to say, here is another thing. This is what I did, Adrian. Do you need to go do this meeting? Do you want to pause? We'll pause and come back. Do you want to?
Yeah, let's pause.
We'll pause and come back.
Let me just check if they actually need me.
But while you check, what I was going to say, one strategy when you are in this stage, if you are seeing signs of life, and if you're seeing signs of life and it's something you want to lean into, the question is, do you have a risk appetite? What's your personal financial situation like? Can you say, I'm just going to make a number up. So Jono, he might have $20,000 in savings because he wants to buy a house. Awesome.
Yep.
I don't know if he owns a house, rents, or whatever. I'm making this up. Can Jono say, I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to get $10,000 of my savings and deploy it into the business. And that means I'm going to hire an external offshore video editor. I'm going to film a heap of stuff. I'm going to give clear instructions with the remit.
Yeah.
I want a clip a day. I want a short a day.
When was his last clip?
Well, he says in the thing, subscribe for new videos every Tuesday and Friday.
Okay.
I'm going to give him a subscribe. There you go. Can you do it? So it's just daily content.
Yep.
And you do the short that's linked to the bigger video. And
Yep.
I would really, after you do that assessment, and this is, we live in our own kind of world. And for me, it's Gosh, here's another thing. Are there any flight sim communities online?
Probably.
There probably are.
Yeah.
How do you be a leader in that community globally?
Yep.
I don't know.
Or look at the leaders and go, okay, what are they doing?
Yeah. Like for me in the personal finance community in Australia, you would say I'm a leader. I've got one of the biggest Facebook groups.
Oh, slow down, Glenn.
But how do you be that go-to?
Yeah.
But are you willing to invest $10,000 over the next
And
6
12
months?
months.
12 months?
You know, like you got to play the long game.
Yeah. But the hygiene factors, it's good content.
Yep.
You really education. What would it look like if the wheels didn't come down? This is what it would look like. Look at videos like we talked about this before, but Captain Steve, and he did a thing the other day with another guy online. How can you
But look at his big top, the banner at the top. What does he say?
daily content?
Yeah.
But also, who cares? I expect there to be content when I log in and look.
Yeah. But like that's his like non-negotiable.
Yeah. Can you also, Jono, on your own personal Instagram or go to ChatGPT and be like, can you do deep search on the internet and look at Reddit and all that of what are the top 3 fears that people have about flying and start to do videos to alleviate that fear?
Yeah. How do we debunk the fear of flying?
Yeah.
I just killed 4 engines, like you said, and
Landed
we
this safely. Yeah.
I think that's great.
Or you've just got to keep experimenting, like always looking for signs of life. Give it another 12 months. The reason for living, your reason for living is to get your YouTube subscribers up to 5,000 by the end of the year. Don't worry about the money. The money will come. If you took $10,000, risked that $10,000, he's a young dude, invested that in your business, if it takes off, you'll buy whatever house you want.
Yes.
If it doesn't, losing that $10,000 isn't a catastrophic failure in your life.
No, exactly right. And like Hormozi talks about this where he's like, everything is much harder than you anticipate to be successful. And so like looking at your days to go, well, I don't have time to do another video. Well, what are you doing at 5 a.m.? Or what are you doing from, like, are you watching Netflix from 8 till 10 p.m.?
Most weekends, I'm here in the studio Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
For this season of my life, I don't have a family, don't have a life. I want to
This is life.
This is life. On purpose, last year for me wasn't great. Business, like I'm getting everything back off life support.
Yeah.
And I've got to put the time in.
Yeah.
I'm in here Saturday afternoon shooting and editing.
Yeah.
Like, if you want it, you got to do what people aren't doing.
Yep.
Most people aren't saying, I'm going to invest $10,000 from my cash and seed something, because it's pretty much seed capital into your business.
Yep.
Don't get a personal loan to pay video editor. Use your own money because you'll slow down and be more measured and considered.
Yes.
Seed it, try it. If it's not working, stop, adjust, double down. I can tell you right now, this guy, particular, the content, all that stuff, he has what it takes
Absolutely.
to get 100,000 subs. At FinCon last year, there was a guy talked the financial tortoise, I think his name is. Far out. So take him. He shared at FinCon last year when he started his YouTube channel. Can you see this here?
Yeah.
He couldn't get followers. For the first year, he had like under 5,000 followers. It took a year, then he got to 100,000. Like 2 years ago, the guy was at 100,000.
Wow. And this is where activity is rewarded.
Yes.
Consistent activity is rewarded. And so it is the non-negotiables. And so for Jono to go, these are mine, they're fine without me. These are my non-negotiables over the next 6 months. So if I've gotten here on 5 hours a week, how do I get there on 10 hours a week? And so write out, okay, well, every day, these are my non-negotiables. I'm going to shoot this clip. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And you just come back to us in 6 months and say, my non-negotiables were this, and I've grown by 200%. And then you restart that in 6 months' time. Okay, if I want to get there, then my new non-negotiables are this. Activity is always rewarded.
Yep.
Both good and bad. And so you look at what is the good activity, what's producing results, and like you said before, you double down on it.
And I think it's the hygiene factor is it's good quality, it's not rubbish. And I think he has those things. I'm not too worried about your website. No one cares about websites anymore. So the only other thing, you just don't know enough. Merch, there's no money in merch. Don't worry about that. He did talk about, I would probably be more interested because he does have a handful, and I mean a handful of people. Gosh, you can see my subscriptions there. That's embarrassing. He does have people that want to give him money. So I think my advice there would be to try and get them off TikTok for that, maybe onto a Patreon or...
Well, YouTube has like a Patreon
Yeah.
version, right?
I don't...
3 videos, 70 hours within 3 months.
I don't know enough about the YouTube paid thing because... So this is right. For me, right, my business, everyone's like, why don't you do like a membership? And I'm like, I don't want to do more content, more work. I'd rather just do more content for free and sell financial advice and mortgages and ads.
Yeah.
Like I want to do less and I want to do it better.
Yeah. But there is a Patreon version.
Yeah, okay.
Within YouTube. You have to be a creator and it's like level 1.
Oh, there is actually. I did see it. I think we qualified for something the other day.
But it is like pay for a mug.
Yeah, that's right. My absolute goal now is to get a YouTube plaque for one of their milestones. I don't know what their milestone. I think first 100,000 or I don't know. But if you look at the fundamentals of business, right, I want to do business with other businesses that has, and we talked about this before we press go today, that's a win-win relationship.
Yeah.
Commercially, YouTube offer a win-win relationship with their creators. That is a platform and company I want to work with.
Yeah.
TikTok, sure, they might. I don't know enough about it. For me, it's too transactional.
Yeah.
I'd rather be building a business in a rich environment with people who like longer form content, because you have people engaged in longer form content, you have their attention more, and what are they, the old saying, brass tacks, or whatever what do they call it? At the end of the day,
yes,
you have their attention, you can sell them something because they've got your attention and they trust you.
Yep.
You have their attention and they trust you.
Yeah.
So I'm partnering with YouTube more now.
It's great.
And I see the signs of life.
Yep.
I don't see the signs of life in audio only. I don't even see the signs of life with Spotify video because they, for a variety of reasons, you have to have your podcast hosted on. Anyway. So, I don't know. Jono, go for it, bro.
I think, circling back to the first comments, well done.
Yeah.
But now is like, okay, what did I do to get here? What do I do to get there?
So, Jono, your warehouse job at the moment, this is, me talking direct into the camera to you, Jono. Your warehouse job at the moment.
Hotel
maintenance, sorry.
Yeah.
Hotel maintenance job. I believe if I were you, for me, that job is over the next 12 months to fund everything you're doing online. That is the reason for you living is to optimize your online business with more content, double down, use the money from that job over the next 12 months. I'm forgetting saving for a week in Ibiza or whatever. I'm forgetting saving for it. I'm literally, because if you build a business, you will buy whatever thing you want if you do it right.
Well, attach those rewards to the end result.
Yes.
So I can only think about a holiday if I get to
5,000 subs.
5,000 subs.
Yeah.
Like there has to be risk. If you want to grow a business, there is risk involved. But there also has to be some kind of benefit or reward.
But that's why it's really important to have, because when I started the podcast, I said to John and Aaron at the time, if we do this, we're doing one episode a week for the next 12 months, whether we get 3 listeners an episode or 300 or 3,000.
Yep.
Got to the end of the 12 months, Aaron didn't make it for some other reasons. And we went, okay, it's been 12 months. Let's just step back now and have a look.
Yes.
We look at trends. That's what we're after.
Yep.
Trends are everything.
Yep.
Okay, there's a trend here. Let's double down. Let's turn it up to 11.
Yep.
I then put, I think, $80,000, $60,000 to $80,000 on YouTube, on Instagram ads to promote the podcast out of my own cash.
Yep.
Before we were making money. So I bought an audience. Can't do that anymore because now everyone has a podcast.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand out anymore.
Yeah.
There's no point me advertising a podcast now. I'll be advertising some other stuff,
Yep.
some, ebooks and some value add that people can download for free. I'll buy an audience that way. But yeah, the next 12 months, Jono, your reason for living is to work out top few pillars. Get someone to help you edit the videos, upload them,
Yep.
and
Just hustle.
turn this up to 11. But I really like the idea of setting some multiple cameras up because people want to see the person as well.
Yeah, there's a few where he's like done a
Yeah.
selfie of him talking through stuff.
Yeah, so let's just randomly have a look. So he's okay. This is good as well. Reenact. Everyone loves. Oh, hello. Everyone loves air crash investigation show.
Oh, geez, he's gone into it.
They do this crap. I mean, okay, why is that only a minute? Oh, I've muted it. See, this would have taken a fair bit of time to research, sim and all that. And that's why we really need to optimize, Jono. You've got to make sure when you're putting the effort in that you are getting the reward back in terms of impact. Yeah. So I'd rather you put the effort into why it's safe to why you won't crash even if the engines fail.
Yeah, and these can be the little shorts if you really want to put effort into it in between.
Yeah, so here's my beta shares review that I did the other day. So one of the parts of my strategy, see, I just did a bit of a coming up.
Yeah, that's the Mr. Beast model. Show the end, start with the end.
And then I talked about something that was annoying. So this is 323 views, which isn't a lot at the moment.
Yep.
But we haven't started promoting this to our email subscribers. I'll be doing some shorts and some reels and some mini chat on Instagram.
Yeah, cool.
Where it's like, hey, I've just reviewed this platform. If you want the YouTube link to see the review, put Vita shares or whatever below.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of another strategy because this is YouTube only content.
Yeah.
This isn't pot audio because you need to actually watch it.
Yeah.
And one of the other reviews that I did on a platform was one of our biggest views.
Wow.
And that was before we really got up and happening.
Can we pause for a second?
Well, let's wrap it up. We're done. We're just chatting. Jono, you're crushing it. It's been an hour and 10 minutes. See the record thing there. I said to Adrian, we'll just talk about this for 20 minutes and then... But got a lot happening. You can find Adrian somewhere.
On LinkedIn.
Adrian Smith.
But Run
Gopher. We'll have you on again soon, and
Let's do it.
We'll go from there. All right, thanks, friends, and thanks, Jono. You're a good guy. Bye.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glenn James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.